Hello, my name is Maite Grullon, and today I will be explaining to you probability, sensitivity, and specificity. First and foremost, what is a probability? The probability is simply the chances of something happening. For example, out of a deck of cards, what are the chances you pull a queen of hearts? How do we find probabilities? In a very easily explained manner, probabilities can be found in many different ways. Some can be simpler than others, with many only requiring adding and subtracting and even dividing. However, others require very specific formulas. Right under, in the basic formula section, I have attached some formulas that are very useful when trying to find certain probabilities, but they all depend on the given factors. However, of course, as this is a very basic view of probability, we will only be discussing the simplest forms of finding probabilities. Let's work it together. In this slide, we can see the number of times students have visited tutoring. 1 or fewer times, 2 to 3 times, or 4 or more times. And we can also see whether the student is full-time or part-time. For the first question, we are told to find the probability of a student that goes to tutoring 1 or fewer times. For this, we will find the total amount of students that went 1 or fewer times and divide it by the total amount. This being 14 over 54, which says that 24% of students went to tutoring 1 or fewer times. For the second question is what is the proportion of full-time students that attended tutoring 2 to 3 times? For this, we would have to find the proportion of full-time students and correlate that to attending to tutoring 2 to 3 times. This would total 25 over 30, which equals 83%, which means that of those people that went to tutoring 2 to 3 times, 83% of those were full-time students. Now that you've gathered a basic understanding of probability, we can move on to sensitivity and specificity. In order to understand this topic, you need to gather the idea of what are the types of data. So what are there? Firstly, we have ordinal data, which is based upon rankings, order, and scaling, such as first, second, and third. Then we have cardinal data, which indicates exact quantity, for example 1 and 20 and 35, etc. Lastly, we have nominal data, which cannot be quantified, for example sex, marital status, and eye color. So what truly is sensitivity versus specificity? Both sensitivity and specificity are conditional probabilities, which means that their result varies on the status of a given variable, which is why many of these questions will include the phrase, given the. What can they be used for? Sensitivity and specificity can be used for many different things, but it is very popular in the medical field as these tests can be utilized to measure the effectiveness and accuracy of certain situations, including medical testing. Both variables balance one another, which means that by one identifying the diagnosis and another provides probabilities of negative results, they allow each other to balance each other out and allow for a more accurate result. I do understand that all this information may be hard to understand all at once, but in simple words and following our medical field example, sensitivity would allow doctors to find the probability of individuals who do have the disease, while specificity on its counterpart will help accurately identify individuals not diagnosed with said disease. Therefore, both working together to find an accurate depiction of who does and who does not have said disease and whether the tests are able to identify this accurately. So much like probabilities, we do have specific formulas that allow us to find specificity and sensitivity. So how do we calculate it? Specificity has a formula of true negative divided by true negative and false positive in a test, while sensitivity has a formula of true positive divided by true positive plus false negative in a test. I know it's difficult to see just by the formula, but let's try it with an actual chart. So in this chart that we will be looking on later on, when we do see our in-depth results, we are testing whether pregnancy tests are able to accurately depict when women are pregnant and not pregnant. For sensitivity, we are dividing 47 divided by 47 plus 5. These numbers are found by 47 being pregnant with positive pregnancy tests and the 5 of women who are pregnant who are found to have negative pregnancy tests. This calculation gives us 0.90, which means 90% sensitivity of the test finding women who are in fact pregnant. Specificity is then found by dividing 27 by 27 plus 21. The 27 is found by negative pregnancy tests and women that are not pregnant, and then divided by 27 plus 21, which is the women that are not pregnant and are found to have positive tests. This calculation gives us 0.56, which means the tests have a 56% specificity. So after working those two examples previously, what did the results truly say? The 90% sensitivity states that the pregnancy tests are able to confirm the presence of pregnancy up to 90% of the time. However, one would really need to focus on its low amount of specificity, meaning that the test has a 56 probability of identifying negative pregnancies, given that the results are truly negative. I don't know about you, but I don't believe that this is the most reliable pregnancy test for women to take. This can be said because on average, a specificity lower than 80% is a grand indicator that a test is not very reliable. So there you have it. That is how you use sensitivity and specificity to find the accuracy of a test, whether it be medical or of other forms. Now, I do understand that probability, sensitivity, and specificity might be a little bit hard to understand all at once. This is why I have attached extra help for you in these slides. As you can see, there are direct links to YouTube videos that allow you to find the very basics of probability, sensitivity and specificity explained in 3 minutes, and sensitivity and specificity within medical data analysis. I do hope these links are helpful to you, as I have found them myself and think that they were helpful to me to further learn about these topics. Thank you so much for watching my video on this simple and clean, simplified version of understanding probability, specificity, and sensitivity. I do hope this video has been of help, and it will allow you to then further your knowledge of these topics by allowing you to grasp more complicated or complex topics about probability and maybe understand the complicated formulas that we saw at the very beginning. Once again, thank you so much, and I hope that you learned a lot of information today.